We've got 5 pools, 5 pool winners will go through, 3 teams will come down from the Heineken Cup. Who's your money on to win the pools?
Well, I have to say that in the Challenge Cup, if we look at the history, and it's very difficult not to look at history, 99% of the teams that have won this competition have been English. I mean, we've had a Welsh winner, we've had a French winner, but the English traditionally have done very, very well, and there has to be a reason for that, because the strength in depth perhaps, or the way that they approach the competition. We've got some very good sides in the competition again this year, with the likes of Harlequins and Sale and some of the other teams. Although I don't think we can discount the likes of Bayonne and Montpellier from the French side, and 1 or 2 of the Welsh teams. So if I'm suitably sitting on the fence, I would say that it will be an English-French final, or possibly an all-England final this year.
But let's start with the new boys. Exeter had a great beginning in their life in the Aviva Premiership, beating Gloucester, thumping Gloucester at home. Not doing too badly, but they've got the top 14 leaders at the moment, Montpellier coming to them. What sort of day will it be for them down in Exeter?
I think it'd be the best day of Exeter's rugby club history, quite frankly. I mean, every game they play is just, I would imagine is the most wonderful experience, not just for their players, but for their fans and for everyone involved in Exeter, Rugby Club. So, they've made a great start to the Premiership campaign. Some of their players wouldn't have dreamed of ever playing European rugby. I think it's great, and it really is good for rugby as well to have teams like Exeter. And whilst Montpellier are flying high at the top of the French league, traditionally French teams don't particularly like to travel well, and Exeter will not be an easy place to play. Having played there many, many times before and ended up with a lot of sand in my face, I can tell you it is a tough place to play. So, I'm looking forward to seeing how that battle runs out.
The tournament kicks off in the northeast with Newcastle Falcons taking on Bourgoin. Maybe Newcastle needs something to kickstart this season.
Yeah, they do, possibly. Newcastle are a team that are familiar with this competition. I think they've played the majority of their European rugby in the Challenge Cup. So, they'll be happy that their first game is at home. And as I said, sometimes it's a bit of a move away from the Premiership and gives them a chance to, for new players to come in, freshen the squad up a little bit. And I would expect them to get off to a good start against Bourgoin.
They have a good pedigree in this tournament. Went obviously to the knockout phase last year. The Blues beat them up in the northeast, but maybe Alan Tate and his new coaching team could do something this season in Europe.
Yeah, I think they've already beaten Wasps, so they're a force to be reckoned with, Newcastle, especially on their own patch. But I think they're bringing in new players. They've got a great setup there. Alan Tate knows the club very, very well, and I think the most important thing in the campaign is that they win their home games. If they win their home games, then they give themselves a chance of qualifying for the latter stages.
Harlequins in with Bayonne, as we said, and Connaught. They know a lot about Connaught. They've crossed swords many times before. Can Quins take that leap this season?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, Quins have had a bit of history in the competition and they've won it, obviously. But I'm sure for Harlequins, they'll want to put their problems of last year behind them. I think the whole of rugby can now, hopefully turn the page on that chapter.
Cruel fate for Gloucester last year, just missing out on the Heineken Cup. But they've won this before, and they're pretty tough down there, aren't they?
They are, and they made a slow start to the season. But I think again they're a team that are trying to build confidence within them. And one thing they have got on their side is a wonderful supporter base, the Shed Heads at Kingsholm. And there's not many rugby players that will fancy a trip down to Kingsholm, especially in the dark winter months as it starts to get a bit darker and the weather comes in a little bit. So it'll be tough for any side going down there, definitely.
And we've got Sale starting at home against El Salvador. What will the Spaniards be thinking about that? I mean, great to come over here and play at this level.
They'll be thinking, what is the weather like in Cheshire? That's what they'll be thinking. And why didn't I bring my raincoat, and why didn't I take up football? But no, I'm sure that they will have a fantastic time. As I said, for the teams like El Salvador, it's every game is a learning curve. I'm sure it'll be tough for them. Sale are, made a great start to their campaign this year, and I would fully expect them to progress comfortably. But again, I'm sure Salvador will have a bit of fun.